So if you find yourself in a stressful situation, you are doing either something dangerous or just something that scares you or makes you stressed, then you have to keep this point in mind or keep this lesson in mind. Usually, if you are doing something stressful, which could be public speaking, for example, there is a high chance your brain will start popping up with all those dangerous thoughts which you don't want to be included with, because they are dangerous, as I said. Which means if you are speaking in public, your brain might come up with something such as, what if I say something wrong? What if they start laughing at me? And so on, basically. What if and what if sentences or questions. You definitely don't want to deal with those, because they, instead of making you focused on the presentation, which would actually be something that's much better than for you to be in your head thinking about all those negative outcomes, because what does it help you to think about them? Nothing. You literally just go through all those possible scenarios, which only makes you more stressed and less focused on the present moment, which you definitely don't want. Because if you are doing something dangerous, not only stressful, such as the public speaking or presentation in public, and so it could be you are working on a construction site, or you are hiking in the mountains and you are currently somewhere where it's actually dangerous, then the worst thing which you can do is to let your brain go with all those possible outcomes, which are what if I fell, what if a rock started falling on me, or all those possible scenarios. It will only make it worse. And so this lesson is something that I want you to keep in mind whenever you are doing something dangerous or something stressful in general. Instead of listening to all those possible outcomes, all those possible scenarios, try to not think at all, or try to think about what you are doing, but not about those outcomes or possible scenarios which can occur. Because if you are in the mountains or you are presenting, the only thing which is much more beneficial for you is to focus on whatever you are doing at that moment, instead of you thinking and focusing on those possible scenarios. Like, in general, it already feels wrong to think about something that's literally not even happening. And what's funny is that most of those scenarios which your brain comes up with have a pretty low chance of actually happening. And so your brain creates fear of something that literally doesn't even have to have fear in it. Which means if you are presenting, there is no reason for you to be stressed or to contemplate on something that could happen. Because there is literally nothing dangerous that can happen. There is nothing that can harm you in any sort of way. It is true that you can somewhat like damage your reputation when you are speaking in front of people, when you say something wrong. But in the end, it's normal, it can happen to anyone. But what's the most important part is that it will most likely happen when you are letting your brain go with all those possible scenarios. Instead of that, just try to calm your head down and think about what's currently happening. So like, this is what I will say, this is what I will say, this is what I will do. Instead of thinking, this is what can happen, this is what can happen, and it will lead to this and this. That's definitely something you don't want to be doing, especially during the thing that you are doing. Which means during your presentation, it's absolutely something that you don't want to be doing. And especially if you are doing something dangerous. And so hopefully this video was valuable, hopefully you got some sort of a lesson from it. And if you enjoyed it, you can comment something down below, or you can elaborate on something that I missed, or something that you want to add in general, or you can just ask a question. And afterwards you can watch this video next.